All right, if you're just joining us, you're watching News of Extra, reaching you live from our Apga studios, and it's politics. Yeah, 2023 is here. As of last year, December, we're referring to 2023 next year, next month, but like I will tell you, it's just a few weeks away from now, and Nigerians will be going to the polls to decide who will govern them in the next 4 years. But this is not without some hitches and crises here and there in different political parties. And we're looking at Apga and Apga crisis and the party chances ahead of the 2023 polls. To do justice to this particular topic, we have no other person but the Director General Presidential Campaign in person of Jonathan Elendu. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Nice to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
So we'll quickly launch a report.
Okay.
We'll just play this report for you to watch, and we'll be back to continue the conversation. Stick around.
The All Progressives Grand Alliance, Apga, had been embroiled in a protracted leadership crisis after its May 2019 National Convention, leading to the existence of two rival fractions. Undoubtedly, this crisis has stagnated the party's activities. After the Supreme Court's recent recognition of Edozie Njoku as the authentic national chairman of the party, Apga has kick-started its political activities with the unveiling of its vice presidential candidate.
It is after this series of affirmations by the Apex Court of Nigeria that we resolved that the time has become right for us, the authentic candidates of Apga, to step into the arena of the 2023 general election to be counted. Tajia Hadiza Mohammed is an accomplished personality with sound education and varied academic exposure. She is an employer of labor. She has established thriving enterprises in Nigeria and abroad.
With all sense of responsibility, as a daughter, a wife, a mother, and a grandmother, I accept the honor of being the vice presidential candidate. I call on all Nigerian women today to join Apga and vote for Apga.
With just few weeks to the general elections, the party urged INEC to desist from truncating the electoral process by lawfully recognizing the party.
I'm pleading with the hierarchy of INEC to please take a few steps backwards and look and see where the decision that came out of the Supreme Court is going. If the right thing is not done, I assure you that after the elections, there will be multiple suits on the basis of an unlawful exclusion. Let me seize this opportunity, as I've done in the past, to urge the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to do the needful without further delay.
The party also appointed Jonathan Elendu as the Director General of the Chekwa Presidential Campaign 2023. Margaret Ogbo, Silverbird News 24, Abuja.
Well, some would say internal or external crisis is the beauty of democracy. So a party without crisis, you say it's not really moving well, because they say there's no home that will exist or will stay without a little misunderstanding. Well, let's talk to the Director General of the Presidential Campaign in person of Jonathan Elendu to highlight a lot of issues happening in the party. Currently, what is the party begging for? And you recently unveiled the vice presidential candidate of your party barely a few weeks to the general election. Does that really depict how ready you are for the forthcoming election?
Well, the party is begging for votes of Nigerians for our presidential candidates, for our downline candidates, the Senate candidates, House of Reps, House of Assembly, governorship candidates. As to unveiling our campaign a few weeks to the elections, you would recall that there has been some internal crisis, like you mentioned. Although this crisis ought not to have been, because this crisis actually ended May 9th. Yeah. But INEC and for some reason, has sustained this crisis. INEC and some very powerful individuals. We don't know what their fear of Apga is, but we'll find out.
Okay. All right. So let's assume that you've gone past the crisis because we may not dwell on that so much. But you have a bigger issue at hand right now. We have less than 3 weeks, so thereabout, to the presidential polls. What are the realistic chances of your party? Yes, you're coming out from a crisis. How can you galvanize, put your house together and go to the polls? But what are the chances of your party across Nigeria?
Apga is a known brand. It's the second oldest party in Nigeria and by all accounts the third largest party in Nigeria. It's a known brand. Yes, we're coming in late due to man-made crisis, but we stand a good chance as any of the other 17 to win votes across Nigeria. So
your national leader recently, who was declared like the national leader of the party, talking about the governor of Anambra State, Chukwuma Soludo, had, come in direct, opposition, or should I say, heavily criticized for a letter, an open letter he had put out in respect to another presidential candidate of Igbo extraction, stating how he feels the gentleman in question was not ready. And there you have a situation where Apga, his party, also have a presidential candidate, and in the person of Chekwas Okorocha. Let's put it straight. Are the Igbos ready for the presidency? Do you also agree with that assertion?
The Igbos are ready for the presidency. We have been since 1960. We have been ready for the presidency. Now, as to Professor Chukwuma Soludo's letter, I will not speak to it. He would. It's his letter. So, and whatever assertions he made in his letter are his feelings, not mine, not that of the party.
Grace?
And you're sure of victory?
Yes, we are sure of victory as the other 17.
To beat the major, to beat some, let me not use the word major, to beat all the political parties, you're sure of victory?
We've come into this race, late as it may have been, to win. We will not take a backseat to anyone. We're here to win. We have members across the length and breadth of Nigeria. So we are here to win. We're going to win seats in the Senate. We're going to win seats in the House of Reps. We're going to win seats in state assemblies and pick up some governorship seats, yes. We're as ready and as good as anyone.
How realistic is this? How realistic is this? When you look at the work that most other political parties have put in, the People's Democratic Party, the ruling party, the APC, and even the Labour Party as well. I mean, traversing, the length and breadth of this country, seeking votes. I mean, you're just coming in just a few days to the election. What makes you think gives you the confidence to think that you're going to cause an upset to start with?
Excuse me. Like I said, Apga is a known brand. Yes, these guys have traversed Nigeria. What are they selling? What is their message? If I ask you, what is the message APC is coming into this election with? Do you know? Do you know what PDP is for? You don't know. What you know is that they have organized jamborees. They have organized, they've brought big acts to come perform, and people are there. And when people are leaving the rally venue, you ask them, what did the presidential candidate say? They don't know. They only know that Two-Face performed well, that P-Square did very well. They don't know what the message is because these guys don't really have a message. When people have been in government all their lives, by one form or another, vice president for 8 years, governor for 8 years, these guys have been there. They have nothing new to offer. We come with a message every Nigerian would like to hear, which is that our country is not structured for people to exhibit and use their God-given talents to succeed in this environment. And that we have to restructure Nigeria for us to move forward, for us to harness all the talents in all the nooks and crannies of Nigeria, to make Nigeria a first-rate nation, not the third-world nation that we are today.
No, but when most times you've used the word Apga is a known brand, But you still know, you'll agree with me that even known brands in the market today have not folded their arms and gone into a corner. They also would actively make a budget for advertisements and all of that. And that hasn't been the case with Apga. So I still ask again, in more practical terms, what are the realistic chances of an Apga, for instance, making an impact in a place like Lagos or making an impact in a state like Kano, for instance? Because you have stated here that you are definitely, you've expressed confidence that you're going to win seats in the National House of Assembly, in the House of Rep, and even pick up some governorship. So where are your areas of strength, if I may ask?
Our areas of strength are everywhere you find an Apga person, and that is in every 36 states of Nigeria. I know where you're coming from. We are not, yes, we're a known brand. Yes, known brands fail. But this is a known brand that was designed to sustain itself. So in spite of all the crisis, Apga has been in crisis for over 18 years. In spite of the crisis, Apga still remains the #3 party in Nigeria. Yes, and we have good candidates. First and foremost is what you look at is, how you recruit candidates for election. And it's not when you appoint people for the sake of, for some reason or the other. You recruit credible candidates who have a message that resonates with the people. We have a message that resonates with the people, and that is the restructuring of Nigeria. That's a sellable message. That is the message we're running on. And I believe that is going to resonate across Nigeria, and therefore lead to victory for us.
So what should Nigerians be looking out for from Apga? What do you intend to sell? What do you intend to provide in terms of dividends of democracy to the people?
You elect an Apga president. You elect Chekwa Sokore as the president of Nigeria and Hajia Hadiza Mohammed as vice president of Nigeria. First, you're going to get a stable country. We all come from places outside of Abuja. How many times have you gone home? Why? Because of insecurity. And if you look at our security architecture, it's designed to fail, just the same way the country is designed to fail. So by the time you redesign the security architecture of Nigeria to take into cognizance the reality of Nigeria, the reality of our multinationalities, you find that you will achieve internal security. Then you talk about even the ease of doing business. It is because, again, the country is not structured to achieve a lot in terms of using the ingenuity of the people, using our natural resources. That is why our businesses, oftentimes, how many multinational companies have started out of Nigeria and gone beyond here? It is because of the way we are structured. We are structured to fail. You cannot come to my village, tap resources that are in my village, and tell me that I cannot use it because of the laws you have made. I should be able to harness the resources in my village, in my compound, in my backyard, and make something out of it and pay the central government taxes, not the central government taking everything and then at the end of every month gather 36 governors and say, let's share money. Does it peculate to the common man? Do you know one common man who has gone from the village to running a multinational company in Nigeria? Why? Because we are not properly structured. And we must get back to that. That is why we talk about restructuring. That is why we're selling restructuring. Every aspect of our life. Until we restructure Nigeria, we'll keep doing this. It's a merry-go-round dance that we're doing, and we'll continue to do it. And we know the truth. The so-called people, our rulers, I don't call them our leaders, our rulers know the truth. They know that Nigeria is designed to fail. They know what to do, just that they don't have the political will to do it.
So you have spoken about restructuring, but one would easily say that restructuring is a brainchild of an Atiku Abubakar, because he was the first person, notable Nigerian politician, who spoke about restructuring, and that is what his campaign is also premised on. He's also saying that he will restructure the country in the next, within 6 months of his inception, if he is elected president of the country. So I asked the question, what makes you different from a PDP or an Atiku Abubakar, what makes your presidential candidate different from the PDP? Or perhaps let's take a look at the ideology. For instance, one presidential candidate had said all political parties have the same ideology, or their differences aren't much as such. But what do you say in that regard as well, as far as ideology is concerned, of the Apga from other political parties?
Let's take the issue of restructuring. You said Vice President Atiku Abubakar has been talking about restructuring and that he's going to do that. He will achieve that in 6 months. That clearly tells you that he does not know what restructuring is about. He cannot achieve that in 6 months. He cannot do it. Why? Because we don't even have in our laws the instruments to do what he's saying he will do. And restructuring is what Chekwas Okorie has talked about for years. He just started talking about it. And so no wonder he does not understand it. Right? We have a progressive ideology. As you can see the name, All Grand Progressives Alliance. We have a progressive agenda. Most of these guys, I couldn't tell you the ideology. I don't know. That is the truth. And I doubt that they know themselves. We come from a progressive background. That is why we're talking about how through what the laws and the instruments we bring into office would affect the lives of the common man. It is not, we're not going to do the so-called trickle-down economics that trickles to no one. You know, so you see the rich keep getting richer, the poor keep getting poorer, and you see that gap. Eventually you'll come to this point we're in now, that everybody, both the rich and the poor, cannot sleep. Because one, they run an ideology, if you call it that, which caters to the haves, to the wealthy, and forget the have-nots. So Chekwas Okorie comes from a different point. He's been an employer of labor, he's worked, he's never been in government. He started whatever he has started, including this party. So we come from a different place.
He started the party and yet left at some point to join, I mean, across PDP and the APC and back to Apga. What makes him so different from the average Nigerian politician?
What makes him different is that, one, this is the first party. Apga is the first political party founded by a Nigerian since we started party politics in 1922, founded by an Igbo man, and which was built, like I said, on the ideology of, on a progressive ideology. Now, yes, he left the party when they fought him and everything was done to destroy the party. And instead of destroying something he started, he decided to step away. And when Edozie Njoku and his NWC came to him and pleaded with him to come take back, because the party has not progressed since he left. Why? Because he knows what to do. He knows the ideologies for which the party was started. You know, people came in, decided they had a lot of money and decided to buccaneer the party. But he came back. He is back now, and you can see that things, there's excitement all over the land. I mean, yesterday we had conference calls with people who had left the party in 36 states. And the excitement is, you can feel the excitement. So he is different from the average Nigerian politician. Because politicians would have left the party they started, or rather than leave, destroy it, and then move to another place. Instead, he decided, he is the first Nigerian politician to hand over back to INEC the certificate of registration of a party he founded. Name one other Nigerian who has done that. Voluntarily handed the certificate back. So there is, you know, there's a whole lot of difference, and you know it.
Okay.
So what's your last word on Nigerians as we look forward to the polls in February 25?
But Grace, don't forget that he's also a politician. They are also the Naira redesign as well.
No,
how's that playing out?
Is it affecting your party?
The Naira anything that affects the average Nigerian affects us.
So what's the call on Nigerians ahead of the election? As
well,
a roundoff.
Tomorrow will be brighter. If you follow Apga, you will find that. I mean, if you look at the political terrain today, most of the people who are making waves now are products of Apga. Tomorrow will be better, with a restructured Nigeria, with Chekwas Okorie and Hadiza Mohammed as president and vice president.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I mean, we could go on and on, but for want of time, we'd like to thank you so much, sir, for coming on the program today. News Hub Extra.